two-story project on the La Beach Road, $85 million project abandoned for 12 years due to funding and litigation. I heard it's haunted. We have to test that theory. Ghana close to 50% cocoa processing target, says Oppong Nkrumah, Information Minister. Continuous voter registration, easy to lay new CI before Parliament. I'm sure my lawyer will tell me what CI stands for. I choose whereabouts, unfortunately unknown. Turkey earthquake. So that's your daily graphic. Ghanaian Times, GhanaianTimes.com.gh is still a 4 Ghana cedi investment. Copy issue number 19,749. At investing in African mining in Daba, make Ghana your investment destination. Jinaport to foreign investors in mining. More, still the question mark about Christian Achu. NACOC destroys cannabis worth 50 million cedis, all gone up in a ball of fire. And publication of COVID-19 expenditure audit premature, says the AG. Which of the A's is that? Auditor or attorney? You will find out when you buy a copy of today's Ghanaian Times. All right, most authoritative newspaper, they say. Daily Guide Network.com is their website. Ghana's favorite newspaper, they claim. Theirs is 5 Ghana cedis. And NDC warmonger nabbed. There's a picture there of Razak Kwampa Avolia. Put down guns. Minister to Boko Youth, Minister Dominic Newton, and Agrada, which I understand means thunder, has been dragged to court over nude pictures. Whoa. Rich. And MPP rubbishes NDC economic comments. Picture there of a bespectacled Richard Ahiagba. Their petroleum price indicators as of 7th February 2023 on the front page of today's Daily Guide. So grab a copy and inform yourself. Okay, business analysts shaping economic decisions. 3 Ghana cedis. FDA to storm Nkrumah Circle over street food vending permits. Okay. And there's a picture there of Rhoda Appiah, who is the PRO of FDA. We've got domestic debt exchange, government to meet greater participation target of 80%. IMF deal likely to go through in the Q1 of 2023. We've got some moves in the mining industry there. Airport passenger service charge on domestic travel inadequate, and AG asked Auditor General to unpublish premature COVID-19. How do you unpublish? That's an interesting request. There was a love song called Unbreak My Heart. I wonder how you do that, but how do you unpublish a report? I don't know. The Daily Dispatch, reliably factual. NDC appears to endorse Swami Youth Officers' plan for violent 2024 elections, claims the MPP's Richard Ahiagba. MPA to sue 47 OMCs for non-payment of PDM collected. Improvised explosive device was nearly used to blow a bridge at Boku, says the defense minister. And if you see something, say something. Call 999. They are going digital. You see their scan QR code for you to get a copy of the Daily Dispatch. So those are your headlines. When we return, this jacket will be off and the conversation will be on. You stick around. This is GTV Breakfast. So I just went to my contacts and I basically, what did I do? I looked for all the Linders in my contacts, and I'm shouting out all of the Linders and sending this song to them. So all your Linders, send the song out to them. Linda Brown, Linda Tamaklo, Linda Adumaku, Linda Amate, Linda Nimeje, Linda Ansabwaje, Linda Santiaje, Linda Boabing, Dr. Linda Day, Linda Enimpa, Linda from the GGBS Awards, Linda from Ghana Trade Show, Linda the Hairdresser Tema 26, Linda Hospitality Awards, Linda July 11th Wedding, Linda Labi, Linda Mante, Linda Men's Bank, Linda Latte, Linda Natwe, Linda Node Mensa, Linda Intifu, Linda Patrick, Linda Saudi Arabia, Linda Star Front Desk, all the Lindas in the world, Linda Swivel, Linda Tech Smartest, Linda Local Content, Linda Kusi, Linda Mriku, all the Lindas. You can even add Belinda too, so all the Belindas as well. All of them. Once it's Linda, it's for them. Linda Doll, everybody. It's a Linda day, man. Courtesy of Samini. Good morning. Welcome to the show. This is GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day, and my guests are here seated to talk about what is happening right here in the news. And my guests are very versed in things that you want to be interested in. International relations analyst Matthias Bonzo Ereko Boateng, and the chairman of the political affairs of the committee of the CPP, energy expert, lawyer, man of many parts, Kwame Chantwa. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, how are you doing? Hey, the radio is here. Akasanoma.
Akasanoma, yeah.
This was made in Ghana.
Yes.
Hey, you promised to?
Yes.
Okay.
My dad used to have one.
Wow, guys, check this out. We used to make this in Ghana.
Yep.
Akasanoma.
And look at the way they put the battery, how you close the back.
Sanyo. Wow. Wow. And look at the back. So this is the back. So do I turn it to open?
Yes.
Hey. And then you put your batteries here.
Yes.
So you don't do so no get problem.
If you don't have electricity, you can use battery.
Wow. By now I would have had smart radios and things, man. Because this is wood, oh.
Yes.
A radio made from wood.
Yes.
My dad
Our
used to
own
have
forest.
one.
With the Sanyo brand. Look at it. Look at Sanyo. There's a branding there.
You can see the handle is firm.
Sanyo. Let me read the back. Ghana Sanyo Electrical Manufacturing Corporation Limited. Model number RL4118. You have the frequency range. They even show you the type of batteries that you should be using. 4 of them. It's right there. Check it out. Yep. We do things before. Nobody should deceive you. We used to do things big times. All transistor preset system, Ministry of Information, Accra, Ghana. And then this is how you tune in. What?
Volume.
GBC 1, GBC 2. Volume, tuning. What?
You've done it before, haven't you?
Don't mess around, man.
You've done it before.
Does it work?
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
So you have to fix it.
If you give it to some electrical people, they'll fix
they
it.
Fix it.
I want us to fix this thing so we can actually tune in.
Yes.
On the next time you come in
Change
here.
the area.
Yes. Oh, the area has to be changed?
Yes.
Okay. This has to be fixed.
Yes, has
I'm
to
sure
be
there's somebody who can fix
Somebody
this.
can fix
Big
it.
time.
Yes.
This is going to be, can you stay with me for a while?
Yes.
Yes,
can.
here.
Yeah.
Next to the Galamsey. this is when Ghana was doing
when
the
Ghana
stuff.
was Ghana.
And this is when we are misbehaving. Right? It's 2 pictures of Ghana before and now.
Oh, you forgot the water.
Yeah. This is good water, but this is when we are misbehaving, with water
Ghana
like this.
before, then and now.
This is when we are behaving. Yeah. So that's a picture of Ghana there for you.
Can you imagine the
Yeah.
phone, the years between this and the mobile phone?
Yeah. Look at it. So now you can listen to your radio on
Within
this.
that duration,
Yes.
couldn't we have done quite a lot?
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. That's our Galamsey water. That's our Sanyo radio. Beautiful. Thank you for throwing this all the way back to us. Yeah. All right. Okay.
You got new props.
Wonderful. So what's on your mind this morning, apart from Sanyo radios and?
Boko.
Oh, Boku's on your mind. Okay, tell us. What's happening to Boku?
I mean, that area has been quite destabilized for a while, and now the kind of devices they are using. Come on, how does anybody want to blow a bridge up in a small area of Boko? It's frightening, and it looks as if we down south don't seem to understand what is happening in that region, and that can explode into other parts of the country. And I think Galamsey also wouldn't help if it explodes, because if the terrorists get in, they use Galamsey as ways of making money, and they will try as much as possible to take over the Galamsey pits. And so it is something that we shouldn't joke with. It's something that we shouldn't, use as child's play. It's serious. It can destabilize the country. So let's all put our elbows to the wheel. Don't let us play politics with it, and let's see how best we can sort the Boko issue.
Okay. Matthias, is there an international element to the whole Boko issue?
Yes, it has, for me, I always boil down to security. Like I keep saying, that our security experts must really be on the ground. They must rise up and know that things like this could trigger or give permission to people for them to get into it and do whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter whether you think the person is a Ghanaian or whatever. With this crisis, people can even sell their nation for some peanuts. So it's very important that the security experts in this country, rise up and then make sure that we are safe and well protected. And also, what's on my mind will be that we have to do with this 17-floor building around the Labadi Beach. That's a time bomb.
Today's graphic.
Yes, that's a
Today's
time
graphic.
bomb. You see, that's a time bomb. So this thing, I think the authorities must really act swiftly on this one, because if you are passing and then you look at this building, it's very dangerous. And you see, what has happened in Turkey, I think we should all. This is a natural thing, but it brings us back to how we are putting up structures these days. People these days are trying to dodge or bypass engineers and architects to build whatever they want to build. For instance, they will say that, well, let me just get a mason or somebody who can just do it for me without going through the proper channel. You understand? And this is really something that is dangerous. Now people are trying to build up story buildings in the name of giving house out for rent and stuff like that. But sometimes if you don't get the right person to engineer the building you are putting up, and something happens, it might not be an earthquake, but the materials that needs to go to the building, if those materials are not going to the building, it might bring problems to other people. So today, what my problem, I'm looking at this and what happened in Turkey, and also wish them our condolences to all the people that we've lost, especially we are still looking for our brother, Achu. But let's come back to Ghana, especially the people who need to control housing and how we build our houses must rise up and make sure that, listen, the right thing is done. Because today people do not even talk to architects. People do not talk to engineers to make sure that whatever they are building goes with the rules and the norms of building. Now somebody will just go and pick somebody by the roadside. So, you will see your house, take a picture of the house, show it to the mason. Which mason we are, mommy? Can you do this? The mason, oh yes, I can do it. Without even understanding the soil, you've not studied the soil.
Yeah.
You don't know how many bags of cement you need to mix the sand and the gravels you need, and then you start building a story building. And I think these are some of the things that are worrying.
This is a 17-year-old building. We actually did keep an eye on this on this particular
and it's still
building.
there. It's been there for a very long time.
We sent our guys there to go and have a look at it. And so it's been abandoned. It's 12 years now, $85 million project. It was supposed to be a luxurious seafront gated community. And it sits on 7 acres of prime seafront area land. And it's rotting away. Building materials are exposed to the sea breeze, there's corrosion. It was supposed to have 64 apartments in all the 4 towers with 4 penthouses and sky villas. And so today's graphic is reporting on this building. Unclear why the project was halted, but they are pointing to possible cases of litigation by major shareholders, which held back the project, which had been fully sold out by the time he started shooting into the skyline along the La Beach. So now it's just abandoned. People are sitting there. Basically, it's a 64 apartment squatting heaven, really, because people have just taken over the place. They live there, you know. And then, so the president of the Ghana Institution of Engineering, Magnus Kwashi, says an audit of the building has to be done. Because generally, any structure that has been abandoned for more than 10 years has to undergo some structural integrity test before major works are done on it. So iron rods are rusting, they'll continue to rust, so the building can actually come down.
Yeah, it's even coming down. Even when we say it, it's coming down.
Yeah, it can
and we don't have to wait for it to come down before we say, oh, we are sorry. Oh, I mean, to lose lives and stuff like that. So,
it was being constructed by M. Babisotti and Sons Limited on behalf of Cypress Investments. Started in October 2011. The first twin towers were set to be completed and fully furnished in August 2013. Graphic tried to reach Cypress Investments Limited, developers of the project, but they were not successful. So that building is there. It's on the skyline there before you get to this Labadi Beach.
Labadi
Hotel.
Beach.
Yes, before La Palm.
Who is doing the planning in this country?
That's a really good question.
Because you see, if for nothing at all, we have earthquake zones. Who is looking at those earthquake zones and the type of houses that go in those earthquake zones? Have you felt an earth tremor before?
Yeah.
And I've lived through an earthquake.
It's like I felt an earth tremor. It's like a huge truck going through an area. I mean, the first time it happened, it was about 10 o'clock in the evening.
96,
Yes.
95, 96,
No,
95.
recently. The last
there
one
was
that
a recent
happened.
one this year.
Yeah, I witnessed the 96.
Yes.
Is it 96, 95 one? I was
I
there
mean,
and I saw them down.
I could feel a grumbling, and I said, what's this? What's this? The next thing I heard, earth tremor. And when you go to the West Legon area, which is a center, the whole place is clay. So even when you build and you don't treat the foundation soil properly, you realize that your house begins to shift and cracks start coming into the walls of your houses. So whose responsibility is it to make sure that the right things are done? Those are the ones you've got to go and ask. The regulators, those who are supposed to regulate. And sometimes some of our brothers and sisters who have the money, because they have the money, they bypass everything. Yeah. And even when the regulator goes, stop, puts this red paint, stop work, warning, they can't be bothered. So sometimes you might blame the authorities, but it comes back to us, the people.
Yeah, but it's if the regulators have the right orientation. Anybody who makes such a request for you to get money for them to do something must be reported and dealt with. It's as simple as that.
Does that happen in this country?
Yeah, so their orientation is wrong.
Yes.
People have to be oriented.
Does that happen in this country?
It's happened before.
Look, it's happened before. The before and now are totally different. We're talking about Kasanma Radio and what happened. Yes.
Galamsey juicy water.
Oh, is that Galamsey water?
Yes.
And there I was. Anytime I come and sit here, I think it's pineapple juice.
No way. This is water from the River Pra.
Oh, really?
I fetch it myself. This is water from the Pra.
I wonder, but what does Coffee have this pineapple juice standing here for all the time?
It's not pineapple juice. This is Pra juice.
Hey.
Pra water. Forget the juice.
If I want to taste it also.
This is River Pra. I fetched this, I think, in September. It hasn't settled yet.
We have
You can see sediment at the bottom.
Yeah. We have to change the mindset, and we have to love our country more. I think that is missing. The patriotism in this country is missing. We're always looking for us first. But without the country, you don't have an us. You don't have an us.
It's not the responsibility of the leaders to shape the thinking of the human beings.
It's the responsibility of the leaders, but the leaders doing it?
No, they're not.
You were talking about Singapore before we came on.
Yes.
You can't joke in Singapore. You can't joke. Spit, they'll catch you. Spit. Just spit, they'll catch you.
I was having a conversation on my one of our platforms, and one of the people said, "Do you want to live in a country where people tell you what to do?" And I'm telling him, listen, if you're not disciplined, people will tell you what to do.
Look, they can.
And when you are disciplined, people will not tell you what to do.
They can arrest you for not crossing on the zebra crossing. They can arrest you.
Yeah.
Easy. So, let's talk about Africa. Yes, he was a soldier. He got himself involved in the challenges of his country. What has he done to his country today? Rwanda. Yeah, he's a military dictator. What has he done to his country today? Has he not turned it around? And we in Ghana, we can't turn our country around. Can't we? if we were all to come together and make sure that Ghana comes first, won't we be able to turn this country around? Because where we are today, it doesn't look as if we are interested in turning our country around. How can a building be built, 12 years, nothing happened, and the authorities, leadership don't say anything about it? The thing is just standing there. And the day we have an earthquake and the whole place crumbles down and kills people, then we shout, oh God, why did you let it happen? The responsibility is on us. It's not on anybody. The responsibility is on us to make sure that the powers that be and the leadership that be do what they have to do.
Sure.
Do what they have to do. It isn't all choboy politics, choboy, we are going to vote, choboy. It isn't that. Because once you vote them into power, they are supposed to serve you. The fanful respect in this country is just too much. Fanful respect is just too much. Everybody wants to be called a certain title. Everybody. Why?
But
And the country is in tatters.
If you want to look at the reason they gave for the halting of this project, that reason does not hold water. Because first of all, if the person had a permit to build, if it's a group and they had a permit to build and there's a disagreement, why would you stop? Because if I've invested money and I have everything to build and I need my money back, why would I have to stop the project? So there's something wrong with this building. There's something wrong with this building. And this building is falling. I can tell you on authority that this building is coming to construction.
No, you can even see it.
And I know there's something. The last time I think about, was it last year or so, I went to Labadi Beach and I went there. And I was telling my friend Siba, I went with Siba and I was telling Siba, this building will fall. Give it 2 years, this building, if it's still there, this building will fall.
And why would it fall? Because it's by the beach.
Yeah, it's so sunny, and I don't know how deep they went.
Rods.
I don't know how deep they went, but you could see that this building is falling.
It's the iron rods. Once the iron rods get rusted that they've used to build the house, it will fall.
Because that's the skeleton.
Yes, that's the skeleton.
that's the skeleton.
It will fall. And don't forget, when you use iron rods, don't think that because it's in cement it can't rust. It will rust.
It will rust, yeah.
It will rust.
And especially the salt.
There's air in the concrete, so air goes through it. It will rust. And then we sit. Nobody does anything about it. Nobody says anything about it.
Oh, we are waiting for it to happen, and then we come and say, "Oh, we are sorry. Oh, people will lose lives," and then, no. But see, carefully, my issue is that it looks like the fight of corruption. We are leaving the fight of corruption to the hands of the government or the administration. Like I said, we should all be involved in the fight of corruption. We should all be involved in fighting corruption. You see, this is a clear case of corruption. Do you understand? I don't have the full detail of what is really happening with this building, but I am sure, or I can also say that maybe the person who gave them the permit, or maybe they don't have the full documentation before they started this project. And it happens a lot. People start building, but they don't have documentation. You understand? And sometimes somebody will go and buy a land to do a project. The person wants to build, and then the land documentations are not coming fast. People are not releasing that land documentation fast for people to do their project. So people in a hurry will always want to go ahead and do whatever they want to do. And all these things brings problem later.
Kav, what was Tema before it became Tema? It was bare land, wasn't it?
Exactly.
What did they do? What did Nkrumah do?
Well,
yeah, but that is what Kafi said. It's the orientation. It is the orientation.
The point I'm trying to make is that he planned Tema.
Exactly. Tema is a planned community.
Yes.
Planned community.
Yeah.
Even Dansuman.
Yeah, Dansuman is planned too. Yeah.
Planned.
Yeah.
Why didn't we follow it through? Everybody is building anyhow.
Adenta's net flat is planned.
Yes.
It's planned also.
Yeah. So
the water drains nicely, everything when it rains.
Something we can do.
But you have people building on waterways. And the authorities are sitting there. You understand? So it is the orientation, like Kafi said, it's the orientation, and we all should be involved in making sure that the right things are done.
I still maintain we need a long-term national development plan.
Do you have a copy of that plan? Because I went to the National Development Planning Commission and they couldn't give me a copy of the plan.
Are you serious?
I have a copy, but it's in volume.
Yes, I would love to read it. Please.
They couldn't even give it to you.
No, they said they ran out of printing the copies. They gave me another
a soft copy.
I want to go through and read, hold the paper. I like to.
I have it in my office.
I'll come and visit you. Yes, yeah. My father said you should treat your books like you're a woman. Don't lend the book. Don't lend it out. So people are coming to the office. I'll take that away from you. You're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kapite. I'm here with Kwame and Mateus, and we're looking at the news. The church is talking about government. front page of today's graphic. It's also on graphic.com.gh. Downsize government, cut cost. Pentecostal and Charismatic Council says there's an urgent need to downsize government machinery and cut down on expenditure to build confidence to address the country's economic challenges. It says government should explicitly and verifiably cut down on expenditure, reduce the size of government. It's very critical to encourage the buy-in of the public. So it's a communique signed by the newly elected president of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, GPCC, Apostle Eric Nyamiche. Says Ghana is in dire straits. Government cannot approach the resolution of the economic situation in a business as usual manner. The church is growing teeth, correct?
Yep.
The church are Ghanaians, aren't they?
Yes.
The fact that they're the church is neither here nor there. They are Ghanaians. But where you have a government who is not prepared to listen, budget, expenditure, what was it increased to? 82 billion, wasn't it? 2023 budget. Wouldn't you have thought that they would have reduced expenditure? It's gone up by 82 billion. For what? You know, listen, you ain't here. Stubbornness. Unfortunately, the president and the finance minister are stubborn. They won't listen. They don't take it that it's the people who voted them, then they are there to serve. They don't.
Do they know something that we don't know?
Like what?
I don't know. I'm asking questions.
Nothing shows that there's something there that we shouldn't know, we don't know. Nothing shows. Are you trying to tell me that this DDE they are pushing on individual pensioners and pension holders, there are no alternatives? Is that what you're telling me? So what about the fiscal stability side of things, where you would have to cut down expenditure? And I'm saying, if government is not prepared to sit and cut down expenditure, cut down projects, do an analysis of which projects should be cut, which projects should be suspended, which projects we don't need, Parliament should take it and do it. Because we have a lot of committees in Parliament that mimic or mirror all the sectors. So if government won't do it, they should do it. Tell us what should be cut according to the revenue that is going to come in. But Kafi, do you think the finance minister keeps saying that the IMF application and thing we've gone in for, it would help the economy? Do you think it's 3 billion we need? Do you think really it's only 3 billion we need? We need more than 3 billion. And so we've got to a stage where the government should sit, especially the Minister of Finance should sit and bring out the alternatives. If he doesn't have the wherewithal to bring out the alternatives, get a commission together or get economists together, get stakeholders together and ask them, what are the alternatives? Because that fiscal stability bit that the IMF is expecting from us would bring out some of the areas we have to cut. What did you just say? Last year, we imported how much rice?
Let me run those figures by you. It's a lot of rice.
How much rice did we import last year?
Okay.
8 billion or so.
6.8 billion
6.8 billion
Ghanaians
cedis.
spent over 6.8 billion cedis.
How much is that in dollars?
At current market rates, that's $560 million. So it's $500 million importing rice. So
and we can't grow rice in this country.
yeah, we ate 1.4 million metric tons of rice in 2022.
Rice,
800,000 tons of that came from abroad, and that other 600,000 was produced here.
rice was never a staple food in this country.
Yeah.
It's become a staple.
It's created.
Food. Yes, it's become a staple food. And even if it's a staple food, why don't we move to brown rice instead of the refined rice we are eating? Because it's more nutritious.
Exactly. Yeah. It has more fiber.
It has more fiber.
Yeah.
And we can even trumpet that and even start exporting. Look,
As part of the healthy drive.
you know something that surprised me last week? I was listening to the Zimbabwean president. Boy, some of the things they've done in Zimbabwe. He said they were relying on Ukraine for wheat. They started growing their own wheat. You know what? Next year they're going to export wheat. They looked at the fuel bit. They started doing their own. There are quite a number of things they started doing, which is going to make them sufficient. Zimbabwe, of all countries that we were laughing at a few years ago. And you're saying in Ghana we can't do it? What is stopping our leaders from looking at local production? What is it? We said planting for food and jobs. Look at the poultry industry, that we have gone into agreement with America to dump pork and chicken on us. I mean, how do we think? Is it that we don't trust the Ghanaian to be able to give us the opportunity? Open the doors, throw it to us, and see what we can do. And sometimes I blame the banks, because the banks are looking for what? Short-term interest. Everything is geared towards interest, personal interest, personal interest. But we cannot leave this country with personal interest. We've got to build the country to a certain point where we are self-sufficient. If we even get people, young people, to grow only corn, just corn, nothing else but corn, do you know the impact of that? Do you know the Sahel area, how much corn they eat? The poultry industry, how much corn it needs? Come on. Something has to change somewhere.
Before I bring in Matthias, so you were talking about Zimbabwe. So they basically used the crisis of the COVID-19
Yes.
and then the whole Russia-Ukraine to become what? Self-sufficient?
Self-sufficient.
In wheat.
In wheat.
I'm reading for the first time since 2004.
Yes.
They are now self-sufficient.
Yes.
They don't have to rely on anybody.
On anybody.
To
fertilizer. They've created their own fertilizer. And they're saying next year they'll be able to export fertilizer. We have gas in this country. What are we waiting for? When this president came in 2016, he talked about using our gas resource for fertilizer. What has happened? You see, the government makes it very difficult for one to defend them, because there are certain things that are ABC that should be able to be done. Easy. So now, Ghana Gas is going to build another processing plant like a Tuabo. Please, let's use that to also go into other areas, because gas is a commodity that does so many things. It does aerosols. The aerosols you have in cans, it does that. Byproducts of it does it. You need gas for power. You need gas for fertilizer. You need gas for so many things. Let's start looking into the added value of gas. If we are going to build another processing plant, it means we have the gas to supply the processing plant.
Matthias, please jump right in.
Well, my little worry would have to do with this administration. It looks like they are not listening. They are not listening to the people who really gave them the opportunity to serve. Because, let's put the government aside and then look at business, doing business in general. Any business, no matter how big your company is, no matter how well you are doing, anytime you find yourself going into crisis, you will lay some workers off. Anytime you have a problem in your company, you are going to crisis, you know there are difficulty paying taxes, there are difficulty paying salary, you will find a way of laying people off. How much more people you have appointed, people you have asked to come and help, and you are paying. And you know that, yes, there is crisis. You know that, no, Ghana, we are going into difficulties. Just reduce the size of the government. What is stopping you from doing that? What is stopping this administration from doing that?
Loyalty.
What kind of loyalty? Loyalty to who? Is it loyalty to your people or loyalty to the nation? That is what
the president believes in.
Loyalty to your people or loyalty to the nation? And who are your people? Your people are the people who ask you to go and serve. Do you understand? You see, and it's very worrying, because today you are asking my father, my grandmother, my sister, or my uncle who's gone to pension to make sure that you make use of his money because you are going to get a loan to invest in your company or something. But you are refusing to sacrifice, to make a sacrifice. Then it becomes so worrying, because when it is like this, you cannot have the whole nation backing you. You not have the whole nation saying that, oh, we understand we are into crisis, and so we will accept whatever proposals you are bringing. Because it is like you are asking me to sleep at 10 o'clock, but you've been up to 12 p.m. You understand? You are up to 12 p.m., but you're asking me to sleep at 10 o'clock. Why? Do you understand? So I think the government should, And this reduce your government, reduce the size of the government. It's not today that the Christians are saying. It's been said by civil society. It's been said by people, parties in opposition. Even the people that belongs to this administration have said that the size of the government needs to be reduced.
Let me read you a story from graphic.com.gh. It was posted on the 24th of December. Parliament has trimmed 17 million cedis from the budget estimate for the Office of the Government Machinery for the year 2023. So the cut reduced the initial budget estimate for the office from 1.4 billion, 1.428 billion cedis to the approved 1.410 billion. So it's still 1.4 billion, really. The House considered that some of the allocations to the two units under the Office of the President, the Special Development Initiatives and the Monitoring and Evaluation Secretariats, were frivolous expenditures, especially at a time when expenditure rationalization was of the most utmost importance. So they took away 17 million from 1.4 billion. So initially there was some 15.56 billion that was going to special development initiatives, and then 2.2 million cedis for monitoring and evaluation. And Parliament basically took that off. They said it was a signal to the government to cut down. But I don't know. When a mosquito bites an elephant, does the elephant feel it? I mean, 17 million out of 1.4 billion cedis.
When a mosquito bites an elephant, he might not feel it, but what the mosquito puts into the elephant, it affects the elephant. But it's got to do with this book, the Constitution. We have to be able to cut the powers of the president. The Constitution does tell us how many ministers, doesn't it? There's a section that tells how many ministers. Have we abided by it? We haven't. We haven't. Because look, a lot of the deputy ministers' jobs, the chief directors
could have done it.
Can do it.
Okay.
Can do it.
And we have two deputy ministers.
And you see, it's not a reshuffle so far as I'm concerned. It is what you call it,
realignment,
replacement.
All right.
It would have been a good time for the president to downsize.
Yes.
On that note, hold that thought. We're going to speak to an issue that you raised when I asked you what's on your mind. It has to do with developments in Bawku. So one person was killed Monday morning, disrupting a RegSec meeting in the Upper East region, and later the military were called in to restore order. Just last Tuesday, our Upper East regional correspondent, Mr. Peter Agengre, reported that 4 people were killed as a result of some disturbances in the Bawku area. On the line, we have Deputy Defense Minister Kofi Amankwa Menu. Good morning. Welcome to the show, GTV Breakfast. What are the latest updates as far as Bawku is concerned?
Good morning, Kafui. Sorry, I should have been at the studio, but I'm very sorry, I was caught up in traffic. So what we're basically doing now, starting from all the things that is going on, we have intensified patrols and increased the men on the ground to really restore our camp in Bawku. So the military side, yes, we will be doing intensified patrols now at this.
So patrols have been intensified?
Precisely.
Okay. Are these joint patrols, military police, or is just police patrols or military patrols?
Yes, in fact, from the get-go, what has been going on is a collaboration work. It is not just the military. It is the military police and then the intelligence officers. And so that is why when some of these things are happening, trust me, the military will never act in a vacuum. They always act on intelligence. So it's a collaboration work being done when the police, military, and then we also have the intelligence officers also on the ground.
What are the immediate causes of the violence?
This was the problem we have been asking ourselves. The Bawku issue started with chieftaincy issue. As we speak now, I've been asking myself if we have somebody who's sitting at the National House of Chiefs on behalf of the people of Bawku. Yes, we do. The former chieftaincy minister actually went to Bawku and said, we have a Bawku Naba. The president himself has also said, yes, there is a Boko Haram. So if people are fighting today, I find it difficult to understand. What are they fighting for? What is the problem? If it was chieftaincy, we have the Boko Haram. I must admit that in areas where we have chieftaincy issues, every now and then you hear skirmishing, but not, on the scale as we have in Boko. So for me, it is no more a chieftaincy issue. It is no more a chieftaincy issue. So if it is no more a chieftaincy issue, then Kafui, whoever is engaging in this thing must be treated as a criminal. Because you cannot have few people holding everybody in Boko to ransom. This is a country of laws. We are governed by law. And we cannot sit and fold our arms and then see a few people make the entire Boko, ransom. Keep thinking that is not the issue. So what is the issue?
What is the issue?
I find it difficult to really understand what's going on.
So does that mean that there's a curfew operating in Boko?
Not that has been reported to me now, but we have intensified patrol. We have intensified patrol. But the situation in Boko is such that if you can have 10 hours of people firing shots, 10 hours, if even there is no curfew, from the military side or from the government side, the people, those who are wielding arms, are putting everybody, on the curfew. That is the situation we find ourselves in Boko. It's the worrying situation. And for me, what is even more worrying is the location of Boko. What is worrying for me is the location of Boko. We all know the problem staring at us in the basin. And as these activities of terrorists only thrive in areas where we have disturbances. And then you have your own people, engage in all these things. What we are basically doing is we are opening the doors, for people to just come in and do whatever they want to do. And that, for me, is worrying.
So you are concerned about the possible internationalization of the conflict. Is that it?
Well, internationalization, of course. I mean, if you have an area where, you have all these disturbances, then what it means is that you are opening your doors for people, of all manner of people from all places to really come in there to do whatever they want to do. It's a war, Kafui. And I will speak. Yesterday on the floor of Parliament, my minister said that, look, let us drop the gun. Let the kids get these rules. We really have to deal with people different things using that.
I'm reading in today's front page of today's Daily Dispatch, and it's a quote attributed to your minister, the Honorable Nitiwul. It says an improvised explosive device was nearly used to blow a bridge at Boko. What does that mean?
So what it means basically, when we say improvised devices, these are devices mainly used by these terrorists. So if we are now beginning, and this is the first time we are beginning to experience such a thing. So if you have an improvised device being used to blow a bridge, then you ask yourself, what is happening? Then that thing which is scary, that thing which is staring us in the face, are we there? Are they here with us? And if they are here with us, are they here with us because we have a problem at Boko? This is, when I say it is scary, sometimes you don't want to say certain things for people, to get so worried. This is the situation on the ground, where people are now beginning to use IEDs to blow bricks. Why would they blow bricks? If the issue had to do with chieftaincy, why did they have to blow a brick using an improvised device? Why would they want to do that? So there is more to it than media.
We have my guests are listening intently, and I think they may have a couple of questions to ask you, Mr. Jantua or Mr. Ereko Boateng.
You see where the danger is?
Yes.
You see, he had a very beautiful question. If it has to do with chieftaincy, they already have a chief. Now, this is how it plays. You see, there are people behind it who also have money financing this thing. I'm telling you. You see, it's a game. You understand? There are people, for all you know, I always refer you to Dr. Williams preaching, enemies behind the scene. There are powers behind the scene pushing these things. And that is why it is dangerous for us, and our security people must rise up. Because if you don't take it, like I keep saying, you might invite outsiders into this, and it might escalate to bring us up.
What will be your question to the Deputy Minister?
No, I mean, like you ask him, I mean, how are you doing? He's talked about the military police and the police together. He said he intensified patrol. It is beautiful. It is good.
All right.
But the danger is that we need to work hard to identify the people behind, the people pushing these things.
Okay.
Because definitely it has to do with money.
It has to do with money.
It has to do with money.
Mr. Jantua, you have any question for the Deputy Minister?
Is that Deputy Minister?
Yes.
The question
Kofi Aman Kwaminu.
The question I'll ask, why has it taken so long for us to create effective employment in that area? Not that area, the northern part. Because we don't seem to be able to create businesses and employment in there. So there are a lot of idle hands for the youth to get into so many things. What has stopped us? And let's even take this Fourth Republic from developing that part of the country. When you go to Malaysia, there are certain parts of the country where it's developed, like Kuala Lumpur. Quite a lot of areas. So you live in a certain area, you won't even come to Kuala Lumpur to do anything. Why? What has caused it? Is it people behind it? Is it partisan politics? Is it that people are not interested in going to that area? Why haven't we been able to develop the North?
Okay, so we'll raise back the Deputy Minister to just wrap up this conversation, because I want to tie it to a report that has come out recently, the UNDP report based on interviews with hundreds of former fighters across East, West, and the Horn of Africa. And he said the lack of employment is what is driving people to join fast-growing armed groups in sub-Saharan Africa more than religious beliefs.
Yeah, it is true.
So if you are saying fundamentalist or Islamic terrorists, it's wrong. It's lack of jobs. When people don't have jobs, they will join these people. So this is a UNDP report based on interviews with hundreds of former fighters. It just came out 2 days ago.
And a perfect example. Let's just even take the situation in Cote d'Ivoire. In Cote d'Ivoire, it started with ethnic groups. But we all know, they've come out to say that. I mean, we all know that even though it started with ethnic groups, people from Burkina Faso and people from Mali really came to do the fight. And in Abidjan, they call them FRC. Do you understand? And Cyril Guillaume has come out to say that, yes, he took the blame to say that, yes, he conducted it because he had to go to Burkina Faso and places like that. And we all know how Blaise Compaoré helped in the situation in Cote d'Ivoire by sending people from Burkina Faso to go and fight in Cote d'Ivoire. So, I mean, it's clear. So
National Development Plan.
Yeah.
National Development Plan, where we plan our economy. If the North is going to be the breadbasket of this country, you need factories in the North so that when people grow food, they can add value and process. What is happening? What is happening? Look, shea butter, it grows like fire in the North. What is happening to the shea butter industry? Holland is waterlogged. When you get into Holland, do you see any water? And when you see the water, don't you see development?
Yeah.
It's under sea level. Don't you see development? And so if we have an arid area like the North, are you trying to tell me that we can't do anything with it? Especially when you have the Bagri Dam that is flooded every year and comes into our country, and we are doing nothing with it? Right now, Pwelugu, they need $1 billion to get that Pwelugu Dam working. And that Pwelugu Dam has irrigation, it has agriculture, and it has energy. Are you saying we can't do anything? And it's idle hands. The youth have nothing to do. They finish school, nothing to do. They come down south, what do they come and do? Some of the jobs they come and do, you won't do it. I won't do it. It's all got to do with having enough money in the pocket to live. And so anybody comes and they entice them with money, somebody who has bad intentions, they will take it and join them. How do you think Galamsey started? How do you think Galamsey started? Lack of jobs. And then we have a leadership where we sit, and they are interested in sitting in hired planes and hired jets to travel. Come on. We've got to a stage in this country, things have to change. And it's not only the government in power who has to change it, we all have to change it. It's not helping us.
To add that, you see, even the youth also are part of the problem. They are part of the problem and they are also the solution. Because you see, CAF, most of these politicians will come, give you party t-shirts, give you flyers, you go around and then you keep chanting, yeah, MPP, NDC, CPP, CNP, you keep chanting. At the end of the day, when a person comes to power, you sit at home and they be crying for jobs. You understand? But if you prove to them, if you let them know that this is what I want, this is what I want, you fight for your right, you fight for whatever you want, I think you will get it. You understand? So sometimes they are the problem and they are also the solution. So if they rise up to look at the solution and the problem, I think we all move forward.
Look, Kafui, let me give you a job to do.
Right. Employ me.
The Fourth Republic started when?
Well,
1992.
92, yeah.
So you were born 1992. 1992 to this time, how many years?
31 years.
31 years. Let's look at all those who were born in 1992 to now. Let's see where they are. Let's see where they are. Let's see how they have improved themselves. They haven't improved themselves, but they've got jobs. Let's see where they are.
That's a deep research.
Yes, let's do it. Who has done it? Let's do it and see.
Right.
It would give us a good reflection of what has happened in this country, in this Fourth Republic.
All right. You're watching GTV Breakfast. I'm here with Matthias Reku Boateng, as well as Kwame Jantwa. And he was on the phone, but he's now live in the studio, Deputy Defense Minister Kofi Amankwa Menu. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. There was a point about jobs, the lack of jobs feeding into the heightened state of insecurity. And there's a UNDP report that came out just this week, which says that lack of jobs drives recruitment by armed groups in Africa. We should be worried about the lack of employment, not just in northern Ghana, but all around the country, shouldn't we?
We should. I mean, obviously we should. But again, do we also engage in illegalities because of unemployment? Is unemployment peculiar to Ghana alone or West Africa? No. Worldwide, there are unemployment, but of course they are in different, degrees. But yes, we should be concerned. But my problem, Kafui, as I entered, I heard my brother Jantwa, made a point about, arable lands in the north and that people are, living in the north to come here. What kind of job are people looking for? As I sit here, Kafui, I'm also going into farming. You understand? I am looking at something else, going into farming. We have lands up north. What are people doing? I know MPs in parliament who are also farmers. Farming is a lucrative job. But if the idea is to look for white-collar jobs, they are non-existent. And so I believe that, yes, unemployment is a problem which we have to look at, which we have to deal with. But around us, there are so many things we can do as individuals. Kafui, how many people can government employ? How many people can government employ? Then you ask the question, how many people can go into farming? Almost every Ghanaian is a potential farmer. Every Ghanaian can go into farming. We have the land up north. Do we have to engage in inegalities? Because then we can also say the man who will stand by the road and commit the crime is because of lack of unemployment, so what he's doing is also justified. No. But I agree that yes, I mean, unemployment is a problem which we will have to deal and tackle. It's a problem.
Let's go back. But
Yes, go ahead.
Kwame.
Just to ask my good friend, the land tenure system, what have we done about it? Look, you travel from Accra to Kumasi, what do you see? Left, empty land, right, empty land. Go and try and touch it.
It's never empty.
Go and try
parcels.
and touch it.
Yeah.
If we do not do something about the land tenure system, these lands that we talk about, how can the youth access it? I do agree. Agriculture is key. We lived in the days of Champon's Operation Feed Yourself. Everybody had a garden in their house. Everybody grew something. And it was a time where there was bumper harvest. Isn't it a question of channeling these youth and not only looking at just them growing food, but teach them how to commercialize the food they grow? Is it not possible? It's possible. Are we doing it? Are we interested? No, we are not interested. Because the politicians, it benefits them to do what they are doing. Yes. It benefits them.
Matthias, let me get a comment and I'll come back to you.
I want to, the Honorable Minister said something that I just want to say. He said that he's talking about unemployment and then the government cannot employ everybody. Yes, we agree the government cannot employ everybody. But what have you put in place for to entice the youth into getting into agriculture that we're speaking? Yes, almost every household in Ghana, there's somebody or somewhere it was into agriculture. My father was into agriculture, my grandfather was into agriculture. But the issue here is that even the lands that we are supposed to protect for us to farm on those lands are being given back for Galamsey. You understand? One, and then he knows, I mean, he's the Honorable Minister for Security, so Deputy Secretary in terms of security. So, you see, hunger is a serious security threat. Hunger is a very, very serious security threat. Because that is what will force people, because maybe, like he gave us to do a survey about the people from 1992 till this time. You see, when you look at these people, if it's 1992, the person was 2 years. Today, the person is not 2 years, and the person has responsibilities. You know, the person has responsibilities now. So one, he's looking for a job. He wants to farm. He wants to get something to do. And the problem also has to do with always people want a white-collar job to do. Mm-hmm. You understand? We are all looking for white-collar jobs, and it is another problem. But what I am trying to say is that once you are here, I made a statement. Once you are here and we are looking at the issue of Boko, we are looking at security, and then we know that hunger is a security threat. We need to identify the powers behind people doing those things. This is an assignment I want to humbly plead with you. Yes, we shouldn't look at the people fighting. Oh, stop this. But the people fighting, these people are fighting because they don't have it. Do you understand? They are looking for somebody's paying them to do it. Because nobody will go and do something that will not get, there will not be any benefit. So, Honorable, what we are pleading is let's try hard to identify the powers behind, the unseen hands behind.
You see, I agree. Kafui, I have always held the belief that security is a collective duty. One person cannot ensure the security of war. It's a collective duty. I agree with you, because if you look at the kind of sophisticated arms being used at Boko, obviously there are people behind it.
What kind of weapons? Where are the weapons coming from?
That is the question.
That's the question.
That is the million-dollar question.
Is it beyond AK-47s?
Beyond. We are talking of, rifles being used by the army. This is the kind of things people are using in Boko, and sometimes even higher than what they are using today. People are being arrested in the south with guns, and then you go deep into it, and then where you trace, and then the Boko, the guns actually are coming from Boko. People can go, we are going to buy guns. So guns are now being sold like we are selling tomatoes in Boko.
And the guns coming from people, action happening in Burkina Faso. The president had some time expressed worry about disturbances in our neighboring countries.
Kafui, I wouldn't restrict myself to say probably just from across the border. I wouldn't say that. They may be coming for all even from the south. It is possible.
Yes.
It is very possible.
Sure.
And it is a worrying thing. And then people expect the military to sit. Halfway, when you go to an environment and then you see people armed and you are a soldier, what would you do?
And that takes me to the 9 or 10 people who were allegedly killed by members of the Ghana Armed Forces. the minority is calling for an ad hoc committee to probe these alleged killings. What's the action being taken at the Ministry of Defense and the Ghana Armed Forces?
Well, first of all, I think when the Member of Parliament came out with his statement, the military has also responded and also given their side of the story. And so, yes, I mean, it is okay. I have always believed that the military is a human institution, and so there can be excesses. But in this case, is that the case? In this case, is that the case? Because if you look at the story as given by the Member of Parliament and that given by the military, these are two different stories.
Which is the truth, though?
If you ask me as I sit here, I'll go for that of the military. I will go for that of the military. Why do I say so? I say so because it is not only the military engaged in fighting this thing in Boko, it is the security agencies, a combination of all the security agencies on the ground. We have the police, we have the military, and then we have the intelligence officers as well. But if you listen to the statement of the Honorable MP, my colleague, most of his statements were based on hearsay. How do you arrive on a conclusion on such a delicate issue based on hearsay? I find it difficult to really accept that. I find it difficult to accept that. And so, yes, I will go with the military.
Let me just read excerpts from the military statement briefly before we wrap this up. And I quote, they say, on Wednesday, February 1, gunshots were heard around the South Nachinga in Boku. A patrol team rushed to the general area of the shooting where a suspect, Abdul Malik Haruna, age 35 from the Mampusi tribe, was arrested. He has since been handed over to the Boku police for further investigation. In a separate incident, sporadic firing was heard around Sabongari general area. A patrol team dispatched to assess the situation spotted unknown men at Gozi Valley side in Sabongari wearing black t-shirts with black hoodies. Troops engaged them and neutralized 6 armed men. Neutralization means killing, right?
Of course.
Okay. And during the engagement, some armed men took cover in a mud house within the immediate vicinity to engage the team. One of the armed men attempted to attack troops with a cutlass but was disarmed in the process. During the operation, a local woman found with a gunshot injury on the left hand was sent to Boku Presbyterian Hospital by troops for treatment. Parts of the statement read. And so this is the Army's response after some Ghanaians, including the MP for Boku, Central Mahama Ayariga, accused them of killing and abuse of some of their constituents, stating that he'll go all out to ensure that he gets redress for them. So as far as you're concerned, there's going to be no investigation from the Army?
The police is already investigating it. The police has already started investigation.
Okay. What would be your final comments on this Boku issue before we let you go to work?
Kafui, as I said earlier on the phone, we have a threat facing this country.
Serious one.
It is so sad. Yeah. And as we sit here, when it happens, we don't know who is going to go. And that calls for all shoulders to be, to assist. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry must come on board to assist. Now we have a place, a border town, that is going through this kind of disturbances. And as I said, the activities of these terrorists thrive in areas where we have disturbances. Yeah. So by what is going on at Boko, we are creating an easy passage for them. Kafui, almost every soldier that comes out of training, we push almost all of them up north. Government is putting up this forward operating bases. Government is investing a lot to make sure that we secure the north. But if our own people will not help but create easy passage for these terrorists, then really it becomes a problem. We are pleading with the people of Boko. That Kafui, I'm getting emotional. You see, I mean, there is nothing, as we say in Akan, assembly anywhere, yadisekai enitra. Eyanuya. Can't the people of Boko sit around a table and talk and find peace? Do we have to find a solution, allegedly a chieftaincy issue, by using the gun? The answer is simply no. I will say, and I go with my brother when he said, we must find those behind. Now the issue has become that of ethnic, and it has been politicized. And you know our country, the very moment we politicize every issue, the issue now gets into a different realm altogether. We cannot politicize the issue of Boko. We cannot use ethnicity to also deal with the issue of Boko. It is time to get and to find peace in Boko. And peace in Boko is key, especially at this time. It is key for the security of our nation. I am pleading with my people in Boko. And I believe that my brother, the MP, also has a role to play. All of us have a role to play. We must all do everything possible to make sure that we achieve peace in Boko. And so, Kafui, I can only ask my brethren, my sisters and brothers in Boko, to look me in the eye this morning. I am begging them, we need peace, especially at this time. Ghana is at risk. Let us not think that all is rosy. Our men out there are working so hard. We have put their lives in danger. They are doing this to make sure that every Ghanaian is protected. They are doing this to make sure that you and I are protected. It is Ghana we are talking about. And that peace is key. And the peace is possible. Possible if we sit and talk. We already have a Boko Naba. What are we fighting for? What exactly are we fighting for? So the issue really has gone beyond chieftaincy, I guess. Yeah. That is why I say that if the issue is gone beyond chieftaincy, that anybody we find with arms doing whatever in Boko will be treated as a criminal. And Kafu, you know what we do to criminals. We need peace in Ghana. And we cannot sit, fold our arms, and let Ghana go into ruins. We will never do that.
And you see, the other thing that we need to also be very mindful of is locally produced weapons. It would increase it because they would feel there's a market in Boko to sell these weapons. Do we know how many locally produced weapons are in the country today?
Gentlemen, what you're saying is true. Yeah. But the kind of arms being used there are not locally manufactured.
I know. But those who
these are international, these
are sophisticated arms.
But those who can't afford those arms would go for the local ones to add to it.
Jantua, you know what? I mean, you know the sound of an AK-47, and you know the sound of Kafube. Yes, I mean, these are two different. Kafube power like a knockout.
Yes.
But sometimes when you hear some of the firing, and Kafugbe, you fire one and then you have to just take time and 2 minutes. No, but this one, it is it's serious. It's very serious.
So the area is as I was with weapons, sophisticated weapons.
Precisely the point, and that is the worry.
All right, we need to wrap this up.
Yeah, we wrap it up. My issue has to do with, I think we should take politics out of this.
Yes.
This is a serious thing.
Yes.
Now, there are people who have been neutralized. Do you have families who've come to identify them? So that this person belongs to my family or this person. Name them, people who are known in the area. This is another thing we have to look at. Not just because of politics, let us find out the people that have been neutralized. Are they really Ghanaians? Do they belong to the community? Have they been identified by the people from the constituency? We should look at this.
Big question. See something, say something. Yes. Call the number 999 if you see something.
Thank you.
You must say something.
Very important.
Minister, thank you so much for your time. We are appreciative of your time here. Skofi Amankwa Menu is the Honorable Deputy Defense Minister speaking to us on issues of Boko and how it is threatening to be internationalized. We have to take care and make sure that the right thing is done. I wish you the very best.
Thank you.
All right. You're watching GTV Breakfast. It's time for our answers. Well, your comments on 055 556 1034. Her name is Thelma, and she's got the messages for you right now on the show, after which there'll be conversations on National Health Insurance Authority and the International Day of Women and Girls in Science. It's Breakfast with Mabel Kwaji, who is a gospel musician, and Just running through the headlines, cannabis worth $50 million destroyed. A policeman interdicted after handcuffing victim over 2 CD debt. 2 CDs. CD of Vala. Show 2 CDs. Handcuff for 2 CDs. Oh, come on, man. Downsize government, cut costs, Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. And she definitely has a smile that is worth more than 2. It's a 2 trillion CD smile. Her name is Thelma. Messages, please.
Hello, Cap. Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen. And so these are the messages on our screen. Our WhatsApp number is 0555561034. These are the thoughts of those who are sending them and not us. So I'll start from the bottom. So from the very early messages that we received when the conversation started. Here's the first one. Hi, Kaf. I'm saddened by everything. Why? For 7 years, salaries have not been increased, but every other thing has been increased over the years. And to add salt to injury, salaries were paid 15 December, and as at now, January salaries have not been paid. How do I survive with 1,300 cedis, I presume? Okay. Emmanuel joins and says, good morning, Kaf. Our hearts and prayers go out to the people of Turkey in their hour of need and suffering. At the same time, we should also be reminded that southeastern Ghana and Accra are also sitting on an earthquake zone. And while your neighbor's beard is on fire, you should start wetting yours. How prepared are we should such a disaster break out? Crucial question. Musa Abattoir in Aswan said government is trying to use another avenue to get pensioners into the killer program. The organized labor has spoken in clear terms. Nobody has their mandate to sit down with government to negotiate on DDEP. They should cut down their necessary spending at the Jubilee House in order to sustain the economy. For the first time in the history of this country, pensioners embarked on demonstrations. God save Ghana. Aaron Babako Kokomisa from Latibia Okoshi joins. I believe that for us to have an effective political administrative system running, we must observe effective local government systems, concurrent convocation between the assembly and the people. The local government must exhibit a high level of transparency and accountability. Charles joined. Some years back, I was encouraging a relative to send his son to school. Here's what he said. I will not send him to school to become a thief. Who are milking this country? Kipo sent this from Tuna Sola Kalba. Nana Kojo, Lottie Jones from Esum. The president's travel expense is a national security issue. Auditor General's report delivery is now unconstitutional. If someone thinks this country will get better someday, the person is dreaming. For whatever reason, I've felt uneasy about this whole true situation since the first time it was announced he was under the rubble. I pray he's safe and the good Lord protects him wherever he is. May he shield him with his armor. Okay. Good morning, Kaf. Please, how are issues of Aisha Juan going? Kaf, do you have any answers? More comments coming in on our screen. The blame game is too much. No one in this country is ready to sacrifice for Ghana. Let individuals start doing things right. And I believe things could be changed in this country. Nana comes again. The story of Achu must not end up like the story of Castro. Let's keep our palms together in prayer for him. We are all vulnerable in the world of unending disasters. What he said, I ask you to be citizens, not spectators. What he meant, I ask you to be spectators and not citizens on matters of corruption within the government. So there's more on what he said and what they said going on in that message from Nana Kojo. Please, is the president serving the interest of Ghanaians? Bernard Oaksing is asking. Alhaji Dauda, my question to the CPP leading member is, after 2024 elections, what is his recommendation about appointment of ministers? Should we have over 500 people being top finances of the political party in waiting to become ministers? Alhaji Dauda is asking this question. Good morning. Please let your life become available to Christ Jesus. Words of pride come from the lips. All the workers of evil say great things of themselves. Hey. Their thoughts, and we are reading some more. Good morning, Kaf. When people say the government should reduce the size of government, what do they mean? To close some of the ministries and sack the workers there, or only the ministers? Because 90% of the ministers are MPs. If only ministers forget, because these ministers don't receive double salaries. So, okay, more messages we are waiting for on our WhatsApp number 0555561034. Hi BFS, Ghana was assembling vehicles and home appliances some years back, but collapsed. Today, Kantanka is manufacturing vehicles and home appliances, including organic weedicides and fertilizers. Unfortunately, our government is importing same products instead of patronizing Kantanka products. Are we serious as a country? Michael is asking from Asha Laja. Good morning, Kafui. I feel proud this morning because I worked with Ghana Sanyo Company Limited, and sad because this vibrant company was liquidated by government. Who was campaigning for investors then? Ni Yemo Elliott of La. Do I have time to read a few more?
Two
Kaf?
more.
Okay, perhaps I should go to the top next time. To go into farming, you don't need only arable land. The land tenure system is the primary problem, then lack of infrastructure to back farming. Finally, the poor policy framework for agricultural production. So I'm going to the very top. Good morning. Our education system is worrying and sad. Form 2 students just spent 6 weeks in school and are leaving to their various houses to enjoy close to 3 months. Majority even reported on the 3rd week. And we, the facilitators, are worried with the outcome. Abilele is asking this from Atonso. Abilele, we'll have to follow up on that. Hi, GTV, very serious to make pensioners go sit at the ministry. This is a big case that this government is bringing on themselves. Remember the quote in the Bible, honor thy father and mother. Igwe sent this from Teshi. Kaf, here's a question for you. Did you watch Joe Biden's State of the Union address? We don't have leaders in this country. We have gangsters. There's a heck of a stuff going on here, so
right.
I'll just leave that. Last one.
I
I really love today's conversation, and Amma Safari sent us this message.
AK-47, Amadeus.
AK-47, Amadeus. Quite a lot he's spoken about today. The whole Ghana is in earthquake zone. The fault lines run from McCarthy Hill through Equiapem, Togo ranges, but the whole country is at risk. Kaf, left with me alone, the military must be withdrawn from Boko, and if they want to kill themselves, they can go ahead. Backup is a major drain on our scarce resources. Boko is a major drain. And he goes on to say, a friend of his set up a factory in Boku because of the volatility of the area. They closed shop. They had investors from outside, but for safety reasons, they left. The terrorist threat is real. The borders are very porous, and the ISIS or whatever terrorist groups are operating in our neighboring countries. They are able to enter and leave at will. AK-47, the preferred weapon of the terrorists, it makes a distinctive sound when you are shot at. It's a sound we never want to hear.
Thank you so much, Thelma.
Very well.
Thank you so much. And I'll end on this note. Good morning, bro. Terrorist threat is very real. They are recruiting locals, young men, and are stealing Toyota pickups and retrofitting them so they can mount heavy guns on them to use. Intelligence community is working overtime to keep this country safe. Allies are helping with the intel. Thank you so much. You remain undisclosed and unnamed, but this is information that we have. Thank you so much, Matthias. Thank you very much, Kwame. It's been great. The latest update on Aisha Wang is from September 2022. She collapsed in court and she came out of it, but we are waiting for her next court appearance. So that's what I can tell you. Galamsey, stop Galamsey now.
Go back to
Buy made in Ghana. My name is Kafui. There's conversations on science, women and girls, national health insurance, and then Nebo Kwaji will take us nicely to 10 o'clock on the breakfast couch. You stick around, don't go anywhere. There's lots more on GTV Breakfast. Good morning.